That's what he does to the people. And he encourages them to be faithful to God and serve him only. And he asks the people to make a choice. And he says, listen, this is in verse 15. If it is disagreeable in your sight to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves today whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, which were beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. How many of you know that serving God is a daily choice? It's a daily choice. The verse says, choose for yourself today. The choice that you made yesterday, maybe last year, doesn't carry over to today. It says, choose for yourself today. So point 2 to let go of edging God out is to choose daily to serve God. Choose daily to serve God. And if you notice something, observe that Joshua didn't say, choose God, or he said, choose God, choose the Lord, or choose other gods. He didn't say, there wasn't an option to do nothing. He said, you can either get with this. I'm telling you, your church is outside. Your church is outside. They know these. I don't know why, but they know these things. They know this thing. I'm not the only hip-hop head in here. You can get with this, or you can get with that. There was no get with nothing. That wasn't an option. Because we all serve something. If it's not God, then it's something we could end up serving our spouse. We end up serving our children. We end up serving our jobs. We end up serving our paychecks. We end up serving our bank accounts. We serve our dreams. Come on, preacher. We end up serving all these other things that slowly but surely edge us out of God's perfect will for us. All these things. So there is no not to serve anything. It's either serve God or these other things. We end up serving ourselves sometimes. Each choice to serve something other than God leads to edging God out more and more in our lives. So choose daily to serve God. And the people of Israel vowed that they would do that. They said they would. It's actually, they said, we'll do that. And then Joshua was like, I don't believe you guys. I spent a lot of time with you people. I've seen how y'all act. I've seen how y'all behave. Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, we're definitely going to do it. Joshua grabs a stone. He puts it and says, talk to the stone. Tell the stone, this stone is going to be a witness for you, what's going on, just as I'm a witness. So he really sort of doubted what they wanted to do, but they doubled down on that. They said, look, we will definitely serve the Lord. So what does it look like to choose daily to serve God? I've got 2 sub-bullet points for that. Got two of them. Let's go back to the text. So the people are dismissed to take their inheritance, and Joshua and the elders die. Joshua and the elders die. Judges 2:8-10 says, Then Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110, and they buried him in the territory of his inheritance in Timnath-Heres, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gash. All that generation also were gathered to their fathers. What's significant about them dying is that they were witnesses. They were witnesses. They saw and experienced God's power. They were there. Verse says, in all the days of the elder who survived Joshua, who had seen all the great work of the Lord, which he had done for Israel. You ever tell someone a story or have a story told to you? And they're telling you all the everything that happened. They're giving you all the high points, the low points, the tear-jerking moments. It's a cliffhanger. It's got laughter. It's got pain. It's got turmoil. And you're listening or you're telling them, and they just seem sort of underwhelmed. It's like, okay, nice story. I don't see what the big deal is. And sometimes either you would finish the story, they might finish the story with, well, you had to be there. You ever one of those had to be there sort of stories? You were there, so it seemed kind of, it was monumental to you, but so a had to be there thing. Well, the funny thing is that sometimes a story alone doesn't do it. Sometimes someone else's recollection and retelling just doesn't do it for us. I've got one of my favorite movies is The Matrix, and there's a quote that Morpheus says to Neo, and he says, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. Psalm 34 says, taste and see that the Lord is good. The generation that arose, they weren't there when God did all these wonderful things for Israel. They didn't taste, they didn't see, they didn't witness, they didn't experience these things that he did. They didn't have those experiences. They didn't see what God really can do. They heard about it. As things were being passed on, they heard about the stories, the wilderness, Egypt, slavery. They said, okay, great. That sounds great. Sounds good. Weren't there. I'm sure it was impactful for you guys. But they didn't have that experiences. They didn't be able to really relive that. So not having a story of their own, a powerful story of what God did for them, sort of contributed to God being edged out in their lives. So one of the sub-bullet points of making a daily choice to serve God is to give God a chance to show off.